Now, this is my underarm about 6 months postpartum, where I'm still dealing with body hyperpigmentation from pregnancy. And it doesn't look that hyperpigmented. This is because I've understood the underlying cause of hyperpigmentation in the underarm, and I know how to manage it. So I'm going to share all of those details with you guys in this video. Let me ask you this one question. When you're out in public, how secure do you feel doing? Raising your arms up like this. If your score is anything less than 7/10, then this video is for you. And this is not me trying to shame anybody. We all have our insecurities, but there are some things that are easily fixable. So I'm going to talk about not just what causes, dark underarms or dark inner thigh, but also easy and efficient way to treat this thing. Permanently feel more confident in yourself, to be able to rock your sleeveless shirts or top and wear your shorts without feeling like, there's a part of me I don't feel comfortable with. First of all, you need to understand what causes dark underarm and your dark inner thigh. There are lots of reasons why you may have a dark underarm or a dark inner. One of the most common one is friction. Yes, friction, be it from shaving, be it from the kind of clothing you wear. When we shave sometimes, it causes tears, micro tears, and sometimes visible bleeding in that area. And when this happens repeatedly, your body's way of reacting to any assault on itself is by producing more pigment. Especially in those of us that have darker undertones like Africans, the dark Caribbeans, any little irritation to our skin, any assault on our skin can trigger our body system to produce more melanin. When you shave and repeatedly cause irritation to that area over time is going to get darker than the rest of your body. Then, apart from shaving, the type of deodorant you also use. If you're using a deodorant that contains alcohol, or it contains fragrance, or even contains aluminium, this can also irritate your skin and cause more darkening of that area. So today, look at the kind of deodorant you are using. Does it contain alcohol? Does it contain fragrance? Does it contain aluminium? And if it does, and you've been struggling with this for a while, you may consider wanting to switch to another type of deodorant. The thing is that when you're tackling this, treat your underarm and your inner thigh just the way you would treat maybe your face. For people with sensitive skin, it's generally advisable to stay away from things like alcohol, fragrance, anything that will irritate your skin, especially if you're trying to fade hyperpigmentation marks on your face. They will advise you to stay away from things like that. So that is the same way you treat your underarm. So if you're using product that contains alcohol, that contains aluminium, that contains fragrance, this can be worsening your dark underarm. If you now top it up, that maybe immediately after shaving, you go and spray that deodorant that contains alcohol on that area, you're worsening it because you're causing more irritation. So imagine sometimes after shaving and you rub your deodorant and it's stinging you, you think, it means it's curing whatever bacteria that is there. Yes, it might be doing that, but it's also further irritating your skin and making that area more dark. Again, with friction, if you wear, like some people are a bit on the bigger side, so when they walk, their thighs rub together. This constant friction can also cause that area of your body to be darker than the rest. Sometimes you may be wearing underwears that are not breathable, so allowing friction of your skin against the material, or that place is constantly damp, this can also cause that area to be darker than the rest of your body. And if you find that you're not exfoliating that area of your skin, because sometimes some people may just have their bath and they would wash, or maybe their lotion, they're exfoliating the rest of their body, but forget to exfoliate those less visible parts of your body. And this can also cause that area to be darker than the rest of your body. Lastly, this is something that is often overlooked, and I'm just going to wear my medical doctor hat for this because this is extremely important. This is hormonal changes. Sometimes you may be dealing with something on an underlying health challenge that is making it difficult for you to lighten those areas. So no matter the kojic acid you use, no matter the glycerin urea you use, no matter the kojisan soap you apply, that place would not just lighten. And that is because sometimes in some cases you have an underlying health condition that you've not tackled. So things like polycystic ovarian syndrome, things like obesity, things like undiagnosed diabetes can cause areas of your body to be dark. And in such condition, you'll find that the darkening is not just normal darkening. It has this velvety look to the darkening, and you may also notice that the back of your neck is also a bit dark, especially if you have folds in those areas. The inner thigh has this velvety look to it. your underarm, your elbows, your knuckle, they're not just dark, but they have this velvety look to it. This can mean that you have an underlying hormonal imbalance. So in this condition, you would probably need to speak to your doctor to do some tests to rule out any of this, especially if you've been trying to tackle dark underarms or your dark inner thigh and you're not getting a lot of results. You may want to go and see your doctor and make sure that it is not relating to any medical condition. For this dark underarm relating to hormonal changes, is sometimes called acanthosis nigricans. What happens is that when maybe your body, like in obesity or in diabetes, your body becomes resistant to insulin. So when you ingest sugar into your system, your body is trying to get rid of the sugar. So insulin helps, in simple terms, insulin helps your body get rid of sugar. Now, when your body becomes resistant to insulin, when you ingest sugar, your body is unable to take up insulin to get rid of the sugar from your body system. So how your body reads is that, okay, maybe I'm not producing enough insulin, and it goes ahead to produce more insulin to try and tackle the sugar that is not being mopped up from the system. And with that excess insulin in your body, what happens is that your body cells are triggered, so more cells are formed, more of the pigment producing cells are formed, and you find more deposition of this pigment. Like you find more deposition of this pigment in areas with folds, like your underarm, your inner thigh, the back of your neck. So sometimes it might just be an underlying medical condition like acanthosis nigricans that is causing you to have a dark underarm and a dark inner thigh. Now that we know the cause, so before you go buy a lotion or you're buying a bar soap or you're buying a body wash to try and tackle your dark underarm or your dark inner thigh, there are simple measures you have to put in place. Like if you're shaving, make sure to invest in a good shaving stick. I'll put a picture of certain types of shaving sticks that you can use that is less likely to cause you cuts and injury to your underarm. So if you're less likely to have cuts and injury, you're less likely to have more hyperpigmentation of that area. So invest in good shaving equipment that are designed to cause less injury, and that will go a long way in helping you treat your hyperpigmentation. Also with shaving, you can also invest, apart from shaving stick, you can also invest in laser, you can invest in waxing, less likely to cause hyperpigmentation of your underwear. If you're wearing tight underwear that is not breathable, invest in cotton underwear that would prevent your inner thighs from touching but also not causing friction to that area. That would also help reduce the hyperpigmentation of that area. When next you're buying your deodorant, look out and see if it contains alcohol, if it contains aluminium, if it contains fragrance. There are a lot of other deodorants out there, antiperspirants out there that are non-aluminium containing, do not contain alcohol, that you can also use and won't irritate your skin, thereby helping you further reduce the hyperpigmentation. And if you've not been exfoliating those areas, you need to start exfoliating your underarm or your dark inner thigh. You need to start doing all of that consciously to reduce the hyperpigmentation of that area. If you've tried all of this and it's not working, then I think it's time for you to settle down and think probably there might be a medical cause for this, and then go see your doctor, do a couple of blood tests to make sure you don't have an underlying diabetes, to make sure your body weight is within the normal range and you're not obese. Then you can now think about lotions, bar soap, and creams that can help fade your hyperpigmentation. So just like in every skincare product, when it comes to lightening your hyperpigmentation, be it your underarm, be it your inner thigh, there are certain ingredients that you need to look out for and invest and go for if you're trying to fade your hyperpigmentation. This is not a time to use a regular moisturizer. Nah. You need to look out for things like niacinamide. You need to look out for things like ascorbic acid or vitamin C. You need to look out for kojic acid. You need to look out for alpha-butane. You need to look out for exfoliating acid like alpha-hydroxy acid, specifically lactic acid or glycolic acid. These are things you need to settle down to look out for. You also need to look out for things like urea. Yes, these are ingredients that can help you fade your hyperpigmentation. You also need to look out for things like retinol, because what retinol does is that it helps speed up the rate at which new cells are formed. So if that area is dark, it will help speed up the rate at which the darker, older cells go away and newer, lighter, normal-looking colored cells are formed. Another great ingredient is azelaic acid, because azelaic acid is like an all-rounder. So if you also struggle with things like bumps in that area, azelaic acid is also a great one, as well as beta-hydroxy acid like salicylic acid is another great ingredient for you to use for your dark underarm. So now that we know the ingredients, I'm going to talk about certain products that you can purchase and how you can use them to solve this problem of dark underarm and dark inner thigh. So for niacinamide containing product, you can try the ordinary niacinamide serum that also contains 1% zinc. Zinc helps with revitalization, so it will help make new cells form faster in that area, while niacinamide on the other hand helps to reduce the transfer of melanin from the cells that produce melanin, called melanocytes, to the cells on the surface of your skin. So the ordinary niacinamide serum that contains 1% zinc is a good option. So if you are going to use something like a serum, like this serum, you can use it during the day. So after your bath, you can apply the serum before going in with your deodorant. But if you're living in a very humid environment like in Nigeria where I am currently, it may make you sweat a bit more, so you can reserve this treatment for nighttime. So apply your serum, and if you're going to do this at night, do not use your deodorant at night. So just apply your serum after you've had your bath. And then another product that you can use is the amlactin body lotion. There's the amlactin 12% body lotion, and there's the amlactin lotion that contains vitamin C. You can use either of them. You can use the vitamin C because I think the one containing vitamin C has about 6 or 7% lactic acid, so slightly lesser, but it has vitamin C, which kind of buffers up the small amount of lactic acid it contains. It's also going to be very effective. So you can use either the regular amlactin or the amlactin that contains vitamin C. And I would suggest you do this 4 times a week because this is an exfoliating lotion. In as much as you're trying to fade the hyperpigmentation in this area, you're also trying not to irritate your skin. So because it contains exfoliating acid, I would say do this maximum of 4 times a week. Also do it at night time where you can comfortably apply it without using a deodorant and without also causing you to be uncomfortable from over sweating. Since we are also talking about exfoliating lotion, you can also try glytone. Glytone has a high percentage of glycolic acid, and glycolic acid would also help to lighten up your skin. Not only is it an exfoliating acid, it will also help to lighten up that area. So you can apply glytone on that side, on your underarm, on your dark inner thigh, or wherever it is you're struggling with hyperpigmentation, be it your knuckle, be it your elbow. You can apply this exfoliating lotion on that area, preferably at night, and no more than 4 times a week because you don't want to over exfoliate your skin, causing further irritation and causing more hyperpigmentation. And for kojic acid, you can use kojisan soap, but you have to be very careful with kojic acid because even though kojic acid is a very active lightening or brightening agent, because of how it works, it inhibits tyrosinase, it inhibits the enzyme that causes your body to produce more melanin. There's a tyrosinase inhibitor. Kojic acid can also irritate your skin, and if it irritates your skin, what happens? More hyperpigmentation. So you have to be quite careful if you're going for things like kojisan soup. Use it like 2-3 times a week. Like you can use it like an adjunct to other treatment stuff. So instead of using your regular moisturizer, you're not using a regular soup, you can use your kojic acid soap in that area like twice a week, while you use maybe your niacinamide serum or your exfoliating lotion. Then for something containing retinol, you can use Neutrogena vitamin C serum. I think it's called Neutrogena Rapid Tone Repair Vitamin C serum, or any serum that contains retinol, preferably something that contains retinaldehyde. I think Medix has some products that contain retinaldehyde, so you can use them or look at a picture of it and put it up here, because retinaldehyde is more active than retinol, so it's going to work faster than retinol. So for those areas, I also go for not just retinol, something containing retinaldehyde, which is a more active form of retinoids. So for retinoids, you have retinol, you have retinaldehyde, and you have retinoic acid. So you can use either retinoic acid or retinaldehyde for this area because it's a bit tougher than your face. So you can use this on your underarm, use it like 2-3 times a week. And I believe that you definitely get to see results because retinaldehyde is very active. And you can also go for urea. You can also go for Eucerin urea lotion. Eucerin has, I think it contains about 10% urea, but you can go for products that contain urea in a higher percentage because urea, the higher the percentage, the more it works like an exfoliant. So if you're using something that contains maybe 20% urea, it will have more exfoliating ability than something that has 10% urea. So our 10% is more of a moisturizer and a light exfoliant compared to our 20%. So on Amazon, there are several products. I'll look for pictures and put them up here that contain as much as 20% of urea. Urea not only helps with moisturizing the area to soften it up, it also helps with keratinization. So keratinization is the production of new cells, makes it and to make new cells to form well, also make the dead skin cells to slough off because it loosens the bonds that are holding the dead skin cell. So urea is also another great ingredient for you to use. And Eucerin lotion, you can use Eucerin lotion again as an adjunct to your exfoliating acid, to your exfoliating lotion, to your kojic acid, to your niacinamide serum, to your retinol. So if you already have all of these products that you use on your face, then you can use them on your underarm, you can use them on your inner thigh, and they would also be very effective. I know some people do DIYs like using lemon or baking soda on that area. Sis, if you're doing this, please stop, because you're just making things a lot worse. Because something like lemon, for example, now lemon contains citric acid, which although is an exfoliating acid, is also too harsh for the skin because of the pH. Lemon has a pH level of about 2, and your body's pH is around 5 to 5.5. So you can see lemon is too acidic for your skin. And when it's too acidic for your skin, what happens is it's going to irritate your skin and cause more irritation. So while it's exfoliating your skin, it's irritating your skin. So you're not going to be seeing results because you're irritating your skin and you're causing further hyperpigmentation of that area. And if you're using something like baking soda now, baking soda is very alkalinic. It has a pH of about 9. So compared to your body pH of 5.5 again, or 5 to 5.5, it's too alkalinic and it will destabilize your skin barrier. And if your skin barrier is destabilized, it will cause further irritation, and with further irritation, you're causing more hyperpigmentation. So why I like DIY sometimes, make sure that the DIY you're using, there's a science to it and you understand the science behind it. So if you're using lemon, you're using baking soda, sis, you're not helping yourself, you're only causing further irritation and letting the hyperpigmentation mark stay for long. You also have to be very patient, because if your underarms have been dark for so long, or your inner thighs have been dark for so long, you don't expect that the result will happen overnight. You have to consistently do all of these things I have said, take all of these measures and use this product consistently, and wait at least 6 months to start to notice visible fading of that area. It's not something you're going to see in 2 weeks' time. I'm sorry, if that is something you're looking for, you might damage your skin if you go and start trying all those things and it will not work. You have rebound hyperpigmentation. So better, my motto on this channel has always been slow and steady and consistently. So apply this product slowly, consistently, and over time you will see, give yourself 3 to 6 months and you see visible fading of that hyperpigmentation. So that is that for this video. Also, azelaic acid, I forgot to mention products. I'll put pictures of azelaic acid products that you can use. You can use either the serum or the lotion. But mind you, because you're using it for your underarm and your inner thigh, you can go for as high as products containing 15 to 20% on to use, because these are tougher areas and it's less likely to irritate those areas of your skin. All right, that is that for today, you guys. I hope you found this video useful. Please just follow these measures I've said. Invest in a good shaving stick, invest in laser if you can afford it, or waxing, get breathable underwear, get non-aluminum containing deodorants, non-alcohol containing deodorants, and then check that you don't have any underlying medical condition before using topical products like lotions or serum for this area. Please give this video a massive thumbs up if you found it useful. Drop a comment down below just to let the algorithm know that the people watching my videos are finding it helpful. Also, leave your notification bells turned on for more interesting content to come, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.